and welcome to the Guitar Effect. My name's Rob. This evening we're going to be taking a look at the Joyo, or in this case Ammoon, but originally Joyo, I think, American Sound preamp pedal. But before we do, I'll ask you to please like and subscribe so you can be kept up to date with everything we're doing here at the Guitar Effect. So this is a pretty well-known pedal among the guitar community now. It is a really affordable Fender in a box style pedal. They also do like a Marshall Vox and a Boogie style amp in a box pedals they have done for probably 5 or 6 years or something like that. And I got it a while ago to put on my board for the purpose of changing up my clean sound for recording. So I still, rather than play it, use it direct as a solution for recording guitar, though I will cover that off in this video. I use it into the clean channel of my amp, and I use it to change the character of the clean channel of my amp. Not all the time, but should I want a different type of clean sound. I've taken it off the board tonight just to give you a kind of look at it, talk you through the controls and stuff, but normally it lives on my board. And I play it into the actual clean channel as a pedal, as opposed to plugging it into the effects loop and using it as a preamp. So, as I mentioned, this is it. It's a pretty well-known pedal. It's made by many different Chinese manufacturers, and this one is called Ammoon, but it's the same pedal as the Joyo American Sound. So it's actually a clone of a Tech 21 Blonde, which I actually had maybe 10 years ago, and I did use once in a gig situation where I'd no amp, and I just went direct into PA with that pedal. And I remember distinctly, it was before these came out, and before that was a really popular live solution. I remember distinctly the engineer commenting on how beautiful my guitar sound was for a direct signal. So these things do work very well. I think that the American Sound did have the option for cab simulation on and off, and I did find this evening when I demoed this, doing it the direct way, it does benefit from an IOR. But anyway, so it's a 6-knob pedal. You've got level, voice, drive, and then a 3-band EQ with bass, treble, and middle up the top. The level control obviously does what it says in the tin. The drive controls the amount of amp style distortion that you're going to get, and then the interesting part is the voice control, which brings it through sort of a history of Fender amplifiers. So it starts off with the blackface kind of thing, and then gets into the, I don't know, tweedy kind of deluxe kind of thing is what I'm hearing. And then when you get over here, you get into a modern supersonic kind of tone. And then obviously any one of those can be used either clean or dirty, depending on where you set the drive knob, and then it can be sculpted using the 3-band EQ. It's a very powerful pedal actually in terms of tone shaping, and this EQ is extremely powerful and really active. That's kind of it really. I think this is one of these things where it's all about, I mean, these are readily available anywhere on Amazon, or you can generally pick them up secondhand for peanuts. I think I paid €20 including postage for this secondhand from adverts.ie, a free ads website. It's powered off a 9-volt power supply, or you can, as I am in this case, run it on a 9-volt battery. So it's a really cool, handy pedal to have. Like I said, it can be used either as a preamp, running into a desk kind of situation, or a recording interface kind of situation, or in the way I'm using it, which is actually for recording as well. I'm running it into the clean channel on my cock, which is a Marshall style amplifier, and then using the emulator out into my interface. So I'm going to go through some tones. I'm going to show you using it in that context, so using it as a pedal into the clean channel of your amp to sculpt your clean sound. And then I'm also going to very quickly plug it directly into my interface and show you how it sounds, obviously with a bypass and then with it on. And then I'm going to add some reverb from the DAW, and then I'm going to add a IOR of a 112 cabinet, sort of simulating a deluxe. So yeah, have a listen. So the first thing I want to show you is how I use this pedal in my rig. Really, it's not set up that way at the moment because it's usually on my pedal board, but I use it as the last pedal in my chain before my amplifier, on my recording only pedal board. And so how I do that is obviously all my gain bass effects, so overdrive, fuzz, chorus, phaser, trem, and compressor all go into this pedal, and then this pedal goes into the front end of the amp. And then I have currently got a Midas Popovich analog delay with modulation in the loop, and I will be adding a digital delay to that as well to have another delay flavor, because I kind of feel I'm missing a delay flavor at the moment from my recording setup. And then I use the emulator out in the back of the amp, which goes straight into the interface and is recorded straight into Logic. So here is the sound of my amplifier on my Strat as it stands, right? So it's completely and utterly clean. It's compressing maybe a little bit with the humbucker, but on the neck pickup it's wide open. So if I just turn the American Sound on, you will hear quite a marked difference in my tone. So here we go. Back to tone of my guitar off a little bit. So really, again, without the pedal, and then with the pedal. So it adds, it just completely reshapes the tone. Really, it makes it more bottom end, way more clear and crisp, and just completely different sound, and quite a Fender sound. On the out of phase position. Okay. And neck pickup. Yeah, so that is in my opinion, without having a Fender amp, it's a pretty good approximation. So in terms of going through what the controls do, so the bass control obviously can add or subtract bass end. I generally tend to leave these centered actually, and then the mid control is really powerful and it's really nice. Then there's the treble control, which gets really fizzy. But even at that, still kind of usable. Roll that back off. And then obviously the drive control. Right up to on the Fender twin setting. And full on, really noisy. Okay, bring it back. So they all do what you think they're going to do. This is the interesting knob. It really changes the character. This is actually called the voice knob. So if I bring this into the middle position, it gets quite tweedy. And I'll bring the gain back a little bit. So again, fully off, you have that super clean sound. Bring it up to here, you get more of a deluxe sound. Bring it into the middle, it gets quite tweedy. Where it gets kind of bass money. Quite pleasing, you bring it all the way and it goes into supersonic territory. bringing it back into the kind of deluxe-y kind of position with the gain bit there is generally how I tend to use it. Give it a bit more gain, you can do kind of a bluesy Fendery thing. Really nice for stabby stuff. And also even kind of, I don't know, sort of country-ish kind of playing. So, as you can see, it works really well as a beefed up, nice, clean sound. So the other thing people do with Fender amps a lot is they put a tube screamer in front of them. This is the Mosky tube screamer copy. So if I go that, do that lick again. Right, and then put on this pedal. Sorry. And then also, if I pick a more sort of martially sort of setting, sort of basement kind of setting, up around here maybe. You get a really cool lead sound off it. So it's interesting to me that in that situation you are getting the natural tube dynamics and compression off of the tube preamp in the cock, rather than just running direct into the desk. Now I am going to show you direct running just into the desk in a moment, and it does function very well in that capacity too. But to me, having this on your pedal board for an alternative type of clean sound that also can result in alternative types of drive sounds is a very useful tool. So that's how I use it predominantly. Hopefully that gives you an idea of the flavour of the pedal. And yeah, so let's have a look at some direct sounds now. Okay, so I currently have the guitar plugged into this Mosky distortion pedal. It's just like a regular straight up Marshall style distortion pedal. Can get quite high gain, but I'm not using it in that context tonight. And then I'm plugged into the American Sound, and the American Sound is going direct into input number 2 on my recording interface. So we're going to try some direct sounds with it. Just as a matter of interest, on the guitar channel, I also have some plugins going. So I'm just going to show you the different, like how I would put together a sound using this record direct. So first of all, here is the dry signal. Yes, it's that glorious sound of an electric guitar plugged direct into a recording interface. So here we go again. Back pickup on my Strat. This is a 2014 60th anniversary Fender Strat made in the USA. And it's been customized with a Seymour Duncan mini humbucker in the bridge. Little 50 bridge pickup. pickup out of phase, middle. You get the idea. So here is the American Sound. So the way I have it set at the moment, as you can see, is I have the level just past noon. I have the voice still very much in the clean part of the pedal, and I have the drive backed off to, I suppose you'd say, a third, and plugged directly in with no plugins, which I will explain the nature of in a moment. Here is the second position. So it's still, in my opinion, quite direct sounding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a impulse response. So I'm going to go over to my computer now, and I'm going to add a line 6 112 deluxe cab using the Lancaster Audio IR loader. So I'm going to turn on that now, and here it is with the cab sim on. One thing that's quite interesting is this pedal, especially in this situation, adds a lot of natural compression. So that's the impulse response, is definitely giving it a better direct sound, and I'm much more pleased with that. Okay, the next plugin I'm going to add is I'm just going to add a spring reverb pedal, which is obviously coming after the preamp, in this case the American Sound, which it normally would, and it sounds like this. So overall, it's a workable sound like that. So I'm going to tweak the controls a little bit. So see what happens when we add a lot of top. Yeah, even with the impulse response on, it still sounds to me a little bit direct. So back that off a little bit, add more mids. Pretty responsive mid control, scoops and mids. Got a real Fender twin thing, deluxe thing going on there. Okay, and let's bring the mids back up a little bit, and we'll give it more bass. I gotta say, actually, the EQ on this pedal in this application is pretty impressive. So I'm going to go back to the back pickup, and I'm going to just give it more of a dirty tone. So I'm going to, on the Fender Twin style, I'm going to bring up the drive a bit. Let's have a listen to that. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty usable sound. I quite like that. I might back the level off a little bit. It almost feels like Rolling Stones kind of sound. And then if we bring the voice knob up to now 2/3, bring the drive back a little bit. Yeah, so it gets that kind of vintage tweed thing going on. Pretty good. then we bring the voice knob up more and give it more drive. We're supposedly into this kind of supersonic kind of territory now. Hear there that when you put the voice knob up to that high position, the mids get much more pronounced, gets kind of hunky. Nice sound. So yeah, in terms of the pedal by itself, I'm going to bring it back down to a kind of a clean setting now. I think in a bind, or as an alternative to using an amp plug-in, you could definitely record some guitar tracks with this. Okay, so yeah, it's a clean platform. I'm pretty happy with the sound that I'm getting out of it there. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is see, in this situation, what would happen if you were to use a distortion pedal in front of it. So I have this, as I mentioned, this mosky brown distortion, which is just a straight ahead Marshall on a box style pedal. I'm going to turn it on, back pickup, same sound. More gain. Back it off a little bit. I mean, it's pretty usable sound. So, I'm not going to labour on the point. I think as a option for a direct solution, I mean, if this translates as well as that in a gig situation, it could be a really useful pedal to carry in your bag should the amp go down. Like I said, I'm not making this video predominantly about using it direct because there's loads of videos about that online, but I think both in isolation and using a pedal in front of it for a distortion sound, so you could, obviously do a clean thing. Works pretty well. So, there you have it, the Joyo, or in this case, Ammoon American Sound preamp pedal. I think, considering these can be picked up for maybe 30 or 40 euro on Amazon brand new and second hand for as little as 20 euro, this is a really, really great tool for anyone to have. And also, I might add, I've also had the AC Tone version of this, which is a Vox emulator, and I use that as the principal, edge of breakup drive on a board that I was in a band I was in for a good 18 months. Performed that task really, really well with a Pigtronics Distortion in front of it, actually, for fuzz, Octavia and overdrive, and yeah, it worked really, really well into an amp. So I think a lot of these pedals, I think I've even tried the California one. I don't really know enough about Boogie to pass comment on it, but really interested to try the British one into a Fender amp actually to do the opposite of this. So yeah, for, as I said, for 30 or 40 euro, I think it's a really powerful tool to put on your pedal board, especially if you're recording. And I would strongly recommend it. Yeah, the Ammoon American Sound. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And my name's Rob. You've been watching The Guitar Effect, and I will see you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.